What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to episode 3 of Blunt and Early, your weekly cannabis news show featuring me, Phace, one-third of the partners. Let's get into the show. This week we talking stocks, benefits of CBD, blunts versus bongs, and laws. So let's get right into it. This week on stocks, we got OGI ending at $1.39. Canopy Growth doing a little bit of fluctuation from last week, ending up at $6.32. Aurora Cannabis landing at $3.36. Intercure at $6.61, and Sundial Growers dropping a little bit from last week to this week, ending up at 50 cents from last week at 51 cents. Once again, always gonna see fluctuations in cannabis, but stick with it. Those of you in for the long haul, stick with it. Don't get scared by fluctuations and jump out the market too early, because just as soon as you jump out the market, you never know, it's gonna blow up. So myself, I always stay patient. I do minimal investments, so I may do $1 here, $1 there, spread out on each stock, so I can have steady growth on all aspects of my portfolio when it comes to cannabis investing. Let's go. Next thing, we're gonna go cannabis laws. Cannabis laws, we're doing big things, big changes within the past 2 weeks. We see Illinois, DC, and Alabama, and also the NCAA out of nowhere making some good positive strides. Illinois, the Illinois House approves workplace protection for cannabis consumers. Once again, I repeat, the Illinois House has approved for workplace protections for cannabis consumers. This means if you smoke buds, you smoke cannabis, if you're a connoisseur like I am, you don't have to be so extra nervous about going to work. Don't go to work smoking. Still, be safe. But if you smoke on your own time, you don't have to worry about quitting or taming down or calming down the amount of your consumption based on your employer in Illinois, because you have stuff and rights to protect you now. They're coming into play. Those of you who live in Illinois and who watch this, or have people who live in Illinois, share the word, give the word so they can know their rights and they can be looking up the laws to know what they are protected for. Back again here in Washington, D.C., back into the district. Once again, they're making positive strides. In D.C., they are now currently putting a ban on pre-employment marijuana cannabis screenings. Once again, I'm going to say it for you slowly. DC has put a ban on most pre-employment cannabis screenings. Woo! Now, for a person like me, I don't live in DC, but pre-employment cannabis screenings always shunned me away from certain jobs because I didn't want to stop what I was doing in my own personal life to have to work for somebody else's job, because I'm only there 8 to 10 hours a day, and my personal life is longer than 8 to 10 hours a day. Now in DC, you really don't have to worry about that on most jobs. I'm not saying all, but most. DC has banned pre-employment cannabis screening on most. Keyword there is most. So still do your research in DC. Don't be all willy-nilly about, yeah, I can apply for any job. Still do your research, because there's most employers that will not be allowed to ban or allowed to screen, for cannabis. We're going to Alabama now. We had one of our subscribers mention Alabama and their laws, so I just want to put their laws out there real quick. The Alabama senators have recently approved for the expungements and also the decriminalization of cannabis in Alabama. Repeat it to you again. Alabama, sweet home Alabama, is pushing for cannabis decriminalization and also expungements of all past cannabis offenses. Good moves, Alabama. We know that Alabama, on most things, when it comes to laws or moving forward stuff, they tend to slag behind in the past, or have been behind in the past. I'm really glad to see they're on the forefront, or trying to be on the forefront of this new wave of cannabis culture and the laws here, because I'm really hoping they see the positive benefits of bringing cannabis into their society on a financial aspect, and also just trying to help those who've been disproportionately penalized for cannabis, i.e. those of a darker hue. Moving on, NCAA out of nowhere, didn't think I'd be reporting on laws or laws changes on NCAA. Well, rule change, because it's not really a law, but rule change in the NCAA. They're now moving to lower the cannabis penalties for student athletes and also, in addition to that, increase the THC drug test levels. So, what that means is if you're a student athlete and you do partake in cannabis, it'll be harder for them to find it in your system because they're raising the threshold limits. So, as in now, if you have zero point 0.6 nanograms of THC in your system, you might pop for that. But they raise a threshold and say you have, we're gonna go with a ridiculous number. Let's say you have 10 grams of THC in your system and they raise the threshold to 20. You won't pop. You can still play. You can still do everything you need to do. There won't be no penalties against you. I don't know the exact threshold levels yet, but I know they are currently trying to raise the threshold levels of THC in these tests, and they're also making it harder to get popped for THC as student athletes. I feel that's good. Once again, THC is not a bad substance. It's not man-made. It comes from the earth. So those who want to partake. Just because you're a student athlete doesn't mean you don't have chronic pain, chronic illnesses either. Mental health issues as well. Cannabis, once again, helps with all those. As long as you're taking everything in moderation and you know what you're doing, it can be beneficial. But anything in the world not taken in moderation can be bad. So always still pay attention to what you're doing. Watch what you're doing. Next topic we're going this week, we're going CBD and the benefit and things it can be used for. Once again, as I repeat, CBD is not the same thing as THC that you find in cannabis. CBD gives you all the positive health benefits of THC, but none of the euphoric benefits, excuse me for that fumble right there, none of the euphoric benefits that you receive with THC, what you receive with CBD. Now, just to give you the scientific terms, or the scientific side of that, studies have shown that CBD helps reduce chronic pain by affecting endocannabinoid receptor activity, reducing inflammation, interacting with neurotransmitters. Once again, I'll say it slow because I know I talk fast sometimes. CBD. Studies have shown that CBDs have helped reduce chronic pain by affecting endocannabinoid receptor activity in the body, also reducing inflammation and interacting with neurotransmitters. It's good for you. It's healthy for you. It interacts in your brain to make all those pain sensations dull out real quick. Layman terms. Now, different uses for CBD. It has been used in cancer research for cancer patients. You can use it for your pets when you're traveling with your pets. If your pets get motion sickness or they have problems with anxiety, I use CBD with my pets sometimes, and I've seen different research on a wide variety. Of different things you can use CBD for as far as with your pets as well. I haven't gone as far as doing a daily dose with my pet. It's just once every now and then, just to see how it affects him and just see if it actually calms him down from the different things he deals with. And it does work. It's not like a high. I don't see my dog walking around all zooted out of his mind and all can't control himself and what you see online. CBD, not THC, CBD. It's good for your pets as well. Myself, I use CBD for chronic pain. I have a nerve condition in my shoulder. I use CBD ointment. I don't use CBD flower or CBD gummies. I use the actual ointment and the oils. I just rub it right here on my arm. And within, I say, a good 10 minutes, the pain subsides. It's not a numbness feel. It's just like no more pain. I go back to normal. When you take your traditional medicines, your Advils, your Tylenols, your whatever over-the-counter medicines, like on the bottle it says 35 to 45 minutes, and you may have side effects. There's an overdose limit on these things over the counter. With the CBD creams, there's no overdose limit because I'm rubbing it in to the affected site. You rub it directly into the affected site, and I guarantee there will be some ease of that pain. It may not be that total ease, no more pain ever again, but it will be, if it's at a 10, it will take it down to a 5, so it will be manageable, so you can do what you need to do. I'm not saying CBD is this all miracle drug, but it is derived from the hemp plant, and it is and does have medicinal uses as well on a daily basis. And so I'm glad that is totally legal. I just want more people to invest in it and educate themselves on the benefits of it, because It's sold in everywhere. They sell CBD in Food Line now. If you have a Food Line grocery store, Food Line supermarket in your area, you can purchase CBD from there. They have CBD in your local gas stations. Most people see it as maybe an impulse buy. You see something right at the register. What's that? I don't know what it is. But read it. Take your time reading it. Educate yourself on it because it is actual health benefits to CBD. It's not something to go get you high or something like that. That's actual the more medicinal side. And I personally use CBD flower to try to wean me off tobacco. I've had a tobacco and nicotine problem for years and years and years, and I've tried everything from the patches to the gums to try to get off of the substance. But the same thing that seems to be helping me the most is CBD. I don't see the craving or the need for as much tobacco or to smoke a cigarette or smoke a black and mild. Nothing is nothing. When I get the urge, if I have CBD gum, I may chew a piece of CBD gum, or I may smoke me a CBD cigarette real quick. With CBD cigarettes, there is no tar, there's no nicotine. It's just actual hemp flower rolled up, CBD, no THC, and it just satisfies that oral fixation and that actual inhalation fixation that you crave when you want to smoke. So it's helped me wean those cravings off. Those of you who suffer from that problem too, that nicotine addiction, try CBD. It may help you out with that as well. Other things CBD can be helpful with, insomnia, definitely. Those of you who suffer from insomnia, try CBD out. I know you probably already tried bud or try cannabis, and that may be good for you. But if you don't want to have that euphoric feeling that comes with THC and you just want to try to get more just straight sleep, try CBD. It is very helpful. I've used that in the past because I suffer from insomnia a lot. I've been up for 24 to 48 hours, almost 36 hours at a time at sometimes. But once I discovered CBD can be helpful with that, I don't rely as much on THC for that part. I rely on CBD. And it's a lot less costly as well. Let's move on. Next topic this week: cigars, blunts versus bongs slash bubblers. It's always a conversation. It's always going to be a debate, which is better. It always depends basically on what you want, but when it comes down to which is healthier, there's no doubt, no debate. Bongs are healthier than papers, joints, cigars, blunts, whatever you want to call it. Bongs and bubblers are the healthier choice. Now with bongs, you get a bigger hit of smoke into your lung at one time, and your smoking session doesn't last for longer, but you don't have that additional additive of that tobacco leaf or that paper that you're rolling your cannabis in. Now we don't clearly think about it because we're rolling up. Okay, we're rolling. We're just smoking a blunt. No, what you're smoking is cannabis, that leaf, whatever that leaf was cured with, and whatever else chemical process that cigar had to go through before you got it. Now with your bong, you take your cannabis, put it, light it, hit it. That's your bong. So that smoke you're getting is pure THC, pure cannabis smoke right there. Of course, with the burning process, the chemical changes that goes in that, of course, that takes place too. But there's less of that and less additives put in that when it comes to bongs. Bongs are not convenient. You can't use them on the road. You can't use them on, you just can't take them anywhere. With the blunt, I can buy blunts anywhere. You can buy papers at the corner store, put them in your pocket. You're not walking around with a blunt in your pocket. I mean, a bong in your pocket, excuse me. You're not walking around with a bong in your pocket. Now, I've seen some bongs as small as my hand. I've seen some bongs as big as me, and I'm almost 6 feet tall. I've had experiences with rolling papers, blunts, bongs, gravity bongs, bubblers, vaporizers. When it comes down to it, my number one choice would always be rolling a blunt because I just feel the whole process of that is more therapeutic to me. But once again, to each his own. That's my process. That's what I like. Now, those out there who like bongs and bubblers, do your thing. That is a great experience. Like I said, the experience doesn't last as long. It could be a more communal experience. But now in the COVID times, I don't think no one really wants a communal cannabis experience unless everybody brings their own thing. That way, cool. I can understand that. But my mouth on something with somebody else's mouth, not gonna happen. And I don't think it should happen with y'all either. Protect yourselves. Once again, this is still cannabis COVID times. So in cannabis COVID times, you have to be extra careful when you're a connoisseur. So being that said, I feel that blunts are the safest choice right now because blunts are personal. Everyone can have their own. I don't know a lot of people who have bongs, but I know there are a lot of people who have the bongs. Now, hear me again. I don't know a lot of people who have bongs, but I know there are a lot of people who have bongs. That's it. Most people I know are blunt smokers, or paper smokers, just more old school, more classical. But bongs are an investment. When it comes to having to buy blunts daily, the money adds up. But when you put your money into a bong, you can invest anywhere between 25 on the low end to a couple hundred on the high end, depending on how intricate you want your bong, what you want to look at, what you want it to look like, what you want to be made out of. Now, some people can MacGyver it up, get an apple and something else and make a bong out of that. Scientists, pure D genius scientists. I can't do that. So I'll go get me either a pack of Dutchess, pack of Gaines, pack of Backwoods, or I may even try these new hemp wraps they have now, which are not made out of tobacco. They are made of hemp, so they are a lot healthier, but it's still the additional additive of whatever they had to do to the actual wrap or cigar to get it processed. So those of you who are looking for a healthier choice and a healthier option between blunts, papers, and bongs, go with bongs. Healthier choice all the way. You get a bigger hit. If you're looking for that cough sensation, bongs. Looking for convenience, blunts. More cost effective, bongs. When it comes down to competition, I'm going to give it to bongs, looking at the stats and looking at the research. But just on me personal, I'm going to have to give it to blunts because I'm a blunt smoker. Almost all of my cannabis experience have been smoking with blunts, smoking blunts, smoking out of Black and Milds when I couldn't roll up. Those of you who are novice rollers, y'all can attest to that. Those of you who can't roll and have someone else roll for you, please learn how to roll. There's nothing like rolling for yourself and have that satisfaction where you don't have to depend on somebody else to roll for you. Back in those days when I couldn't roll, I had to smoke with other people. That would really suck in the cannabis times because damn, what were you gonna do? Invest in a bong then. You don't need nobody for that. All you gotta do is buy it, put it in the bowl part, hit it, and you're good to go. As long as you know how to inhale, you're good. So all in all, I'm gonna give it to bongs for the healthier choice. Just personal choice. I'm gonna go blunts, and that's just me. I'm never gonna change that. On to our next topic. We're gonna go just some of my favorite smoking moments. Like I said before, I've been smoking for years and years and years and years, decades about now. I'm not on a Snoop Dogg level, not by far, but I do consider myself a avid smoker. So one of my favorite smoking memories had to be I say it was the Christmas of 2003. Christmas of 2003. I was still going to ODU at the time, and at this time, my little brother Tiz, he was staying with me. So at this point in time, we weren't big on going back home and for the holidays and staying back. So we went home. We went back home for 24 hours, at most 48 hours, and we were back. We had to go back to ODU. And during the holiday times, no one's on campus. You may have all of 100 people on the whole college campus out of thousands and thousands and thousands, which I really loved. So I would always rush back to get back to the campus to have that solitude inside of the campus. At this time, I was, I think, at the height of my smoking in my early 20s during this time. So on the way back to ODU, me and my brother both copped a quantity of marijuana. I think I got an ounce and he got an ounce, or it was a half and half. Well, either he had a half an ounce or I had a half an ounce. All I know is we were good to go for a good little while, just between me and him. So we smoked on the way back. We got back. Now, being it was just him and I, it wasn't too much to do then because, once again, there's no one on campus, so you really can't converse with too many people. There's nowhere to go. There's no parties happening. It's just solitude. Me personally being the only child, without my brother, I love solitude. So being by yourself, just chilling, is cool. At this point, we get back, man, there's nothing to do. I'm constantly on roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up. I'm smoking so much, my brother falls asleep. I'm an avid smoker, so I'm waking him up. Hey, roll up, man, roll up. It gets to a point where he's mad because we're smoking so much. He's like, man, damn, you know we can't save some of this. I'm like, man, fuck it, ain't shit else to do. Let's smoke. Me personally, at that point, I was like, I'm trying to get the highest high. At my age now, I realize you can conserve that marijuana. You can spread that out. You don't need to smoke an ounce in a few hours between two people. You can, but why? Why? It was no need to smoke that much between me and my brother then. We ended up smoking an ounce and a half within, I say, 12 hours. Just between two people. And we weren't rolling big blunts. We're rolling just regular sized blunts. So it's just me and him. So, and we're rotating. We're not facing them. We're not personal. I roll one, he roll one, we're passing them back and forth. And while we're passing them back and forth, I'm rolling another one, and he don't know, but I'm rolling another one after I roll that one. So we end up with four back and forth, and we're just smoking and smoking and smoking. Conserve your marijuana, people. Marijuana ain't free. Hindsight is 2020. If I'd have had the smoking habits I have now, back then, I still have marijuana from then, right now. Take that tip and apply it to your life. If you got the bread to smoke it like that, do it. But at the same time, why? Don't waste the money. Don't waste the cannabis. You can purchase all of it that you want, but everything in moderation. That's what I want you to take from this episode. Everything in moderation, people. Don't smoke your life away. Smoke to enjoy yourself, but still be able to do what you need to do in your daily life. Don't smoke to be a bum. Don't smoke to be a classical, as they say, weed head. Let's mature ourselves to be cannabis connoisseurs, and let's look at this crop as a cash crop as it is. Once again, this is Phace. This has been episode 3 of Burnt Early. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Also, check out the Partners Podcast. You can find us on anchor.fm, also on YouTube, and anywhere else you can find podcasts. Please stop by and check out our store on artreclothing.com. Once again, it's artreclothing.com. ARTRE clothing.com. If you stop by and use the promo code PodSquad83 in all caps, you save yourself a little bit of money. Once again, this is Phace, 1/3 of Partners. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of Burnt Early.